a really smart lady. She's going to teach you all what it's all about.
Well, I'm very honored to be part of this. I see a number of my students, past and present, amongst you. I'm speaking as a faculty member, and I would like to see more of my faculty member colleagues get behind this Freeze the Fees struggle. And one of the reasons for that is that I believe in the mission statement of the University of Guelph, which is to serve the public interest. Now, the public is not just the rich. The public are not just the people who think, with our president, that the higher the tuition fees, the more status the University of Guelph degree confers on he or she who has one. There is a section of the population who might have that conception. It's the same section of the population that will buy a luxury car or any a costly item to show their status and power, but that should not interfere with access to higher education for the poor. And that is what we have now. I have been teaching here now for 23 years, and I see a very dramatic change in the student body. We used to have people from all different kinds of backgrounds. We used to have single mothers. We used to have older people. We used to have the unemployed. We used to have lots and lots of different kinds of people coming to the classes in the day and at night. And now we have a much narrower student body, characterized in particular by being from the upper income brackets. What is the reason for this? Well, at one level we can talk about budgets, and we are, remember, the university, which after the University of Moscow has the largest land holding of any university in the world. And when an organization like a university owns land, they can lease it out, they can sell it, they can get income from that vast, vast quantity of land. So any talk about there being a shortage of money at the University of Guelph is a very interesting twist on the fact that this is the most land-rich university in the world after Moscow. There's another dimension of the increase in student fees that I want to touch upon. Not only does it discriminate against poor students, it discriminates in particular against young women, and in particular against young women and men from the rural areas who have to pay rent, have to find their own accommodation, which means that their cost of going to university is much higher and their debt load is much greater. And let's think about what debt really is. What is debt? One of the things that debt is a source of profit to the financial sector. When we look at the institutional affiliation of the members of the Board of Governors here at this university, we have a huge proportion of the total members of the board being affiliated with financial institutions. They are bankers, they are investment analysts, they are insurance company CEOs and executives. They are people who make their money from finances, including debt. So they have a great direct interest, and I might say a conflict of interest, in hiking debt, which is the source of their profit. We don't see on the Board of Governors representatives of single mothers, representatives of poor families struggling to get their children into university, representatives of the community that are concerned about the public good. And here I come to my last point. We have here a public university with a commitment to advancing and strengthening the well-being of society as a whole. And we think of the history of this university, and really every public university in this country. We think about our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents sacrificing through tax payment to build up this great institution in order that it can serve this generation of young people and the next generation of young people. And yet we find that mission subverted by debt and by exclusivity for the rich. Debt is a way of controlling students. Big business does not want students in Ontario to do what students in Quebec, along with their family members, along with other people in Quebec, creating a huge social transformation, including the freezing of tuition fees. How did the Quebec people do it? They went into the streets. They defied the no demonstration laws. They shut down industry in lots of different ways. They are a role model for the rest of us. In closing, I want to draw a distinction between the individual constructed, as this university is constructing students here, the individual constructed as a unit of consumption and a unit of production. This is the construction of the individual that corporate profit takers insist upon. There's a different conception of the individual student, which is someone who is a human being who is growing and developing in order that he or she should have a fuller life and contribute more fully to the improvement of everybody and of nature in the broader society here and worldwide. Let's stand for that. Thank you.
Freeze the bees! Freeze the bees! Freeze the